It's time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Oil Stream. Nielsen and Gazzola with you. We are live on location at Boston Pizza on Calgary Trail. One of the most classic OG locations, really.
I didn't know that, but I appreciate it. When I look at the lounge, like, it's nice and open. It's right off of Calgary. It took me an hour to get here. The traffic.
Well, that's crazy for you. I came all the way from the west end. It took me like 20 minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I had to stop and do my hit with Gregor, but it is sweet. OG, I like it. It has a good vibe to it. Obviously, well-trafficked area.
One-armed bandits.
One-armed bandits. Some familiar faces over there.
Yeah, a lot of members of our fellow media that we see hanging out over there.
Now and then.
But nice tribute up top here, actually.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so the reverse retro is the McFarland jersey. We've got an OG. Speaking of OG, Ryan Smith.
Signed, too.
That's auto. He signed it.
That's
nice. Then what I really appreciate and admire, and I don't think we can see it. Well, you can see a little bit back here, the 05 Grey Cup.
Yeah.
Jason Maas, Ricky Ray, Jason Johnson.
Ricky Ray there.
Ricky Ray. These ones aren't signed, but they've got the Jason Maas frame jersey. And I just did Bozone Live with him last week. He was our co-host.
Yeah.
And he did get a buck in Strathcona with Ryan Kohler. I know local hunters and people that watch Wild TV know Ryan Kohler as well. But Jason Maas is a beauty, dude. Like, I know on the CFL on TSN, you probably
he gets pretty fired up at times, that's for sure.
He told me some things, and I was like, because he was like, hey, I told him, like, I did a couple games with Dusty, and he's like, that's awesome. And then we had this huge conversation. The guy's legit, man.
Yeah. He's a good dude.
He really is.
He'll land on his feet for sure. Watch for him to pop up in the East, I would think. So, as always, the Oil Stream is brought to you by our wonderful partners, Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. Nothing says Oilers 2-game heater like some Popeye's chicken nuggets. Almost 24 locations, including the new one at West Edmonton Mall. So if you're looking to get your hands on some of that delicious chicken, you can do that at all of your Popeye's locations. Skip the dishes. DoorDash, Uber Eats is going to be like minus 30 this week.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to deal with that. I'm flooding right now. I'm flooding the rink right now.
Yeah, you are.
Didn't lay the liner down till yesterday when it was windy. And it was a nightmare.
No.
I was cursing. Tammy's just shaking her head at me. Got it down. And then did a little flood last night. It snowed then today, so I tried to blow off a bunch of the snow, and then I just said, screw it. Flooded again today. I'm going to go home tonight. I'm going to flood again tonight.
Quick question about that. Are you running a hose through your house, like opening a window?
It's not a hot water flood.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
No, I'm just taking it off the side of the house. However, last year I mixed in probably about a dozen hot water floods.
Yeah.
And I would run it from my hot water tank through a bedroom in the basement, up through the window, and then around us back.
Just so the heat can stay up where everybody is.
I love it. But it's freezing this week.
It's a labor of love. I've noticed a few
is.
people. My old producer at Oilers TV, Jeff Nash, he was on the news last year because he did like a Northlands Coliseum paint.
Oh, what a fancy boy.
Yeah,
eh?
he goes above and beyond. Yeah. And he's been out there, like, I know you haven't had the time, but he would like stomp when there would be a snowstorm, and he would pack the snow down, and then he's been documenting everything. The guy hosts his own show called Rinks Around the NHL, so he's very much into the science of it. But as I'm learning, and you being one of the people sharing your stories about it, like, there's a lot of guys our age.
So cool.
That,
it's just so
that
calming.
they're really into it. And I kind of respect the hell out of that, to be honest with you.
It's pretty much the only way in life I relax nowadays, Tommy. So,
you have a blue moon over
there.
there.
Very enjoyable. Yeah, the Belgian moon. Get it right.
Belgian moon. Pardon me. In the States, it's a blue moon.
Yeah.
And you and I are packed into the corner booth of a very spacious and nice lounge on Gateway Boulevard, or Calgary Trail.
Yeah, Calgary Trail, Boston Pizza. Happy hour, of course, 2 to 5, and then again from 9 until noon. So for Weather's game days and stuff, you want to swing by Boston Pizza Lounge, they can make that happen for you. Obviously, you both did these road games. You can come check out here at Boston Pizza. And actually, we're going to get into Oilers talk, promise.
Yeah.
But huge news here tonight at Boston Pizza.
Tell me.
And people are going to be like, man, media guys just live the life. But
we'll have to be contrarian about this, too.
I bumped into an Oil Stream viewer, and I said, what did you get for dinner tonight? And Pasta Tuesday, got this big meal. And I said, man, you know my favorite menu, my favorite item is not on the menu anymore. It's a smoked ham and chicken stromboli sandwich. And he goes, my wife, that was her favorite thing, too. Yeah. He goes, so she asked for it tonight, and they made her one. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? So I talked to the owner here, and I said, hey, I hear you're making smoked ham and chicken stromboli sandwiches. And he goes, yeah, you want one? I said, I want one. So for like the first time in a decade, I'm getting a smoked ham and chicken stromboli sandwich tonight.
That's a big one.
And there's rumors that they might be bringing back the stromboli sandwiches.
Whoa. But it's not
huge night.
I would give the credit to our viewer /
Yeah, that's
wife.
a good point.
Good on you for picking up on and using that tip to your advantage.
Yeah. I buddy, it's like one of my favorite meals of all time.
Well,
I can't wait to get into this
fantastic.
thing. All right, let's get into the Edmonton Oilers, and let's start with just the win over Florida. Tommy, what was the response like on the post-game show following that game? Because that game was 5 seconds away from being a disaster.
Yeah.
And then instead
absolutely.
it's like this thrilling overtime win and everything's fine. So what was the reaction like?
I think a shock is a good one, and understandably so. How many times do we just see a late face-off with less than 10 seconds left and the game gets iced away? And sure enough, they get lucky. Evan Bouchard, he fired that thing. That pill was a laser. So it was obviously excitement, shock. People are still concerned about the way they're winning these games.
Well, the starts still. I mean, down 1-0 again, right? Like,
there was a stat yesterday. I read it on the pregame show, and it's like the Oilers have allowed a goal 6 times in the first 3 minutes of a game this season.
Somewhere Koskinen is in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Like reading this and just saying hilarious things in Swiss.
Yeah, exactly. Or Finnish or Russian
whatever
or whatever
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously that leads the league. So thankfully, Edmonton waited till the 3:49 mark of the first period to allow the first goal on an absolutely atrocious attempt at blocking a shot by Darnell Nurse. They left Stuart Skinner hang out to dry. That is a concern. I understand why, but I like the fact that they're winning these games. And to be honest with you, Dusty, the way they battled back, they fought hard in that game.
When they fell behind one, they cranked it up a notch.
They did.
Yeah.
And I think that needs to be appreciated and acknowledged. But you're not going to get that lucky and fortuitous that often during the stretch of upcoming games where you back into another one. You might dig yourself a hole here. So especially with all these injuries. But, hey, shock and satisfaction I think are good terms to use to describe how people were yesterday on the postgame.
Evan Bouchard had that huge goal late, had 2 goals in that big third period comeback. So after not scoring all season, he's got 3 in his last 2 games. He also had 7 shots on goal. There's been a lot of talk about a lot of shots being blocked. He had 7 shots on goal in that game against Florida. Obviously, the big one late. But is it starting to come around a little bit, or is this just a guy who was taking a bunch of shots, couldn't get anything, and now all of a sudden has a few bang in there?
All right,
how are you?
Bring it in there.
Nasty handshake. Nasty. Num. Just like that. Yeah,
there we
that
go.
Was great. That was the one. Oh, and a pack to crack.
No way.
Yeah, look at this. Live on the oil stream today.
Oh, no. There we go.
Live on the oil stream. This is amazing.
Clutch.
Oh, man. What a miracle.
Packs.
This is Cash from the Crack Pack. Yeah.
Cash, nice to meet you.
Great to meet you, man.
Yeah. Okay, what do you got,
this is
Dusty?
great. Yeah.
This is good. I like this. I like the spontaneity of it.
Trevor Zegras, In Motion Phenoms. Carter Hart and Jonathan Huberdeau.
I ran into Carter Hart this summer, and he's like, "Hey, Tom," and I was like, I for a second didn't even recognize him, and I was like, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah.
And I was like, Carter Hart. I'm like, "Oh my God, he remembered me from an interview I did
hilarious.
with him in Everett." Okay, I'll go with mine. Andre Vasilevsky.
Nice.
Is this an insert?
That's a red die cut. Yes,
okay.
Tommy. Yep.
Andrei Kopitar.
Beautiful.
And then Timo Meier.
Yeah, and I got William Nylander, Spectrum, and then Connor Hellebuck and Alex Pietrangelo. Are you sticking around after? Okay, perfect. Yeah, well, we'll wrap up midway through the episode. We'll wrap up the episode and come over, man. Thanks.
Cash. I love it.
There you go. I love it.
There we go.
What a nice surprise.
Coming on down to BP's.
Boston Pizza. Tried to do a little AM Nasty handshake there we were working on this morning, too.
Do I need to know about this AM
Nasty handshake? Well, you're going to have to eventually. We're working on it still.
Okay.
We're working on it still. You're supposed to go like this and then like this, and then you smell your hand. This was a listener suggestion.
I saw
that. You smell your hand, and you go, nasty. And then you go, num, 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 num. And then you do a Poho thrust in honor of Peter Chiarelli. So there's a lot going on there.
That's a lot.
Anyway, so we were talking about Bouchard and the game kind of coming around a little bit. Now, the offense, whether it comes in bunches, the offense will always be there for him.
Yes.
Are you seeing anything else in his game that makes you think, okay, it's really kind of getting it together here?
Honestly, nothing off the top.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Think that, oh boy, it's really coming. Now, what I am encouraged by, if you will, is, okay, he's starting to score these goals, right? Now, that's good because that monkey gets off his shoulders. He starts to feel good about his game. Offensively, he gets a lot of looks. And Dusty, he's passed off a ton of looks. He's just fired wide on a bunch of them. Now he's got a few that he's buried, 3 in the last 2 games. I think that adds to the confidence. You start feeling good about your game, become more assertive. maybe he becomes more assertive in the
helps
defensive
it everywhere
zone.
else. Yeah.
Yeah, it starts to permeate. So that's what I'm hopeful for. I think that's a good indicator. Let's see if it actually comes to fruition. It can start and be galvanized by something as subtle as a goal or two, and he's got 3, so he should be feeling good. It's good to do it at one end. That's nice. Let's see if he can do it at his own end, and welcome to the 2022-2023 season, Evan Bouchard. I keep saying that because it's true. It took him 21 games.
It took him a while to get going, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it quiets down the noise about, hey, Duncan Keith. But like I said on the last show, it's like, well, you have him on the staff. If he's really the Bouchard whisperer, you could call him and be like, you want to come and work
I like
with
that,
Evan
the
a little
Bouchard whisperer.
Right,
right.
Yeah,
That's really good.
Yeah.
All right, so Zach Hyman, 3 assists. They moved him up on that line. Things really got going. We'll get to if you leave him there in a second.
Yeah.
But I asked the question earlier today. Which former Oiler does Zach Hyman remind you the most of? Give me your answer, and then I'll read you some of the replies here on Twitter.
Okay. Do you want me to go more obscure than the one that I think everybody...
I mean, it's a more talented Ryan Smith.
Yeah.
Nothing against Smitty's talent, but
yeah.
I mean, is there somebody outside of that?
Oh,
Because
okay.
that's not a bad comparison.
No. Okay, I've got one. I've got one that maybe people would think maybe not, but a little bit like Jarrett Stoll. Minus the face-offs.
Like not the best boots.
Not the
hard
best
on the
boots,
puck.
has a nose for the net at times, can make nice plays that surprise you. So a little bit of Jarrett Stoll. Jarrett Stoll didn't muck the way, Hyman, a.k.a. Smith, also did, but or also as Ryan Smith did. But some elements of Jarrett Stoll were, it doesn't always look pretty, but it gets done, and they're both right shots.
It gets done, that's for sure. All right, here's a few of the other answers that come in. Kelly Bookberger with talent. That's a kind of
poor Bucky.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's probably true. I mean,
well, Bucky would be the first guy to admit
it. David Perron without the pesky side. Perron has that crazy work ethic.
That's a good one.
On the ice as well.
I really like that one.
That's a good one. Lots of Smitties.
Yeah.
Obviously, 100% Ryan Smith. Less hometown boy, more skilled hands, but the same tenacity, drive, and net front presence. Mm-hmm. He became my favorite Oiler by the end of the preseason this year. Nice. Hyman is a speedier Ryan Smith with a haircut. That was a good one. And this one says, if Ryan Smith and Jordan Eberle had a baby, it would be Zach Hyman.
Wow.
Which is, I mean, that's kind of interesting.
That's funny.
That's kind of interesting. But I mean,
funny.
this has got to be 90% Ryan Smith's.
Yeah.
Ethan Morrow mixed in, Krushelnyski mixed in. But mostly Ryan Smith.
Krushelnyski was a giant. He's a big guy.
He's still a big dude. He's been at some of these pro-ams, man.
He's a really nice guy, too. Great stories. He's one of those people that it's like, he's one of those people that like you're just drawn to.
Yeah.
He has that magnetic
And he's
feel.
a handsome man, too.
He's a good-looking dude. He's a really nice guy.
Because he's got to be in, his late 50s?
Yeah, but he's
at
like
least
6'4". He's got to be close to your height, 6'5".
Great
maybe?
flow and everything.
Yeah. He's a lot of fun to talk to and hang out with. He tells a great story. But, because Hyman's like my size. He's a little bit taller than me, maybe, but he's thick. His ass and his thighs are huge. Like it's
that's a lot of people say. Have you seen the ass on that guy? It's huge. It's a huge ass.
You can't get regular jeans. You got to go for the stretchies.
Stretchy jeans are great.
They are great.
Yeah,
they honestly are.
Nice. All right, so the Oilers take off on this. It'll all tie in together here because I want to get to how they go on this road trip until they're healthy, until you have Fogle, Yamamoto, whoever, until they get back. But you were at practice today. Small practice. What'd you say? There's like 6 guys, 5 coaches, 8 guys.
8 skaters, 1 goalie, and 5 coaches on this.
And 1 member of the media.
Me. I was the only one in the stands. Now I went on Loads at Jameson, and I guess I called out our colleagues, but I understand some of them were traveling. And
why would anybody call out people in the media for not being down there all the time?
Because if you don't know, some of our colleagues call each other out and take attendance, evidently. So I made a joke about that. But can I allude to this, too?
Yeah. Big oil stream guy here.
Big oil stream guy coming up. He's a Hall of Famer, and he texted me at 4:51 p.m. on Tuesday, for the record. One Jim Matheson, James, as we like to call him. He wrote, "You will be happy to know that Reed and I were on the scene at Oilers Light Skate Tuesday before flight to Chicago. Cheers, Maddie."
Where were they?
They weren't in the stands. I watched the whole practice. So they just sat and waited by the room until the guys went off. Or they went and just did interviews. And then I wrote to him, "Where were you guys? Just downstairs?" I had to go do a hit at 10:40.
Oh, God.
And then he wrote back, by the dressing room.
This is an amazing exchange. Amazing
Called
exchange.
out.
Yeah.
Called out.
Yeah. No, that's
for
good.
calling
I like
them
that.
out.
I like that. That's great.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party.
Oh.
Okay, so you leave to kick off this road trip. Do you just say Hyman with McDavid and Draisaitl, set the tone, have a good start, and then if that is the case, which I think that's what I would do.
Sure.
Who would you play with Nugent Hopkins and Jesse Puljujärvi?
Okay, so you just want to take this game from Chicago.
Yes.
So don't look at it as both games. You look at it one game at a time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Go in, take this game from a struggling Blackhawks team. So yeah, stack them up. Try to get a lead. Try not to give up the first goal in the first 3 or 4 minutes, which is ridiculous how much they do that. Yeah, stack them up. I don't care about that. I think that's fantastic. Go for it. Like, you want to go for the throat against the Hawks? That's a great way to do it. So who would you throw up there with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Jesse Puljujärvi?
If they're together.
If I was a coach, and thank God I'm not, and I fully admit that, I really like the way Dylan Holloway's playing, but they're clearly insulating him.
They are.
So I'm okay with Matthias Janmark. He's had good puck
touches.
Yeah,
it was Janmark last time, right?
He needs to convert one of these. He needs to either set up a nice goal or score one. Like, he's capable.
Like, just get something going.
Get something going.
Makes good decisions.
Yeah.
Gets around the ice well enough.
And I think
a
the
little bit bigger than I thought he was.
Yeah.
Watching him play.
You can trust him.
Yeah.
He's an NHL veteran. He's had streaky moments. So I think that's an easy answer.
Can I throw one more at you?
Please.
Tyler Benson.
He's got to have a chip on his shoulder, right?
Why not? I mean, we've been saying, how long have we been saying? And this is true. Like, this is true. Tyler Benson has always been an offensive guy.
Yeah.
Anytime he's really played here, it's kind of been bottom six. And, he's adjusted. He's changed his game. He's more physical. He's hitting things.
Good for him. Yeah.
But, I mean, usually you aren't going to have a spot there in the top six to give him a look, right? Either Kane's going to be there, Yamamoto's going to be there, or whatever. This time, the spot is there. Play him with Nuge and Puljujärvi, and who knows? Maybe it clicks. Maybe it works. It's not the worst thing in the world.
No. And I'll say this: like, I know his skating gets knocked. I think he worked on it.
I think he's gotten better at it. Yeah.
You look at him at practice, and you're like, man, he's got a little hop in his step now. So I think he consciously put in some effort over the offseason to get quicker and to shut people up, if you will.
Like pre the skating improvement with Benson, you'd watch him skate and you go, oh, he's not an NHL skater.
Right.
I think he's starting to, or if not, has already overcome that.
I think so. I remember
not that he's going to be a burner or anything.
No. And I mean, the difference between a burner and an okay skater in the NHL is so finite, or so minute. But there is a noticeable quickness to him, and so let's put it to the test. I don't mind that at all. Sure.
Yeah. No, it might be. Who knows? You got to get in the lineup first, but it could be something that you would look at. That's your Boston Pizza appetizer, depending on what they do with the lines as they head on a quick 2-game road trip. Once again, we're live at Boston Pizza on Calgary Trail tonight. Happy hour every day from 2 until 5, and again from 9 until close. And there was a lady in here earlier who had definitely been here for happy hour. She was having a good time.
Oh,
I think she left before you got here, but I was like,
boy.
oh man, this could make for a very interesting oil
There's
stream.
a couple of places she could go close by, I think, too.
That might be what ended up happening there.
Tuesday.
All right, let's slide over to inside the numbers for Coolbet. Stay cool, bet responsibly. Quick 2-game trip Wednesday and Thursday. If you want to bet those games, hop online, coolbet.com, and they'll give you, in the end, there's almost 200 markets for each game, different things that you can hit on. The Edmonton Oilers, here's our inside the numbers. The Edmonton Oilers, starting on Thursday, will play 15 games in the month of December. Let me give you the schedule here, Tommy, because it's an interesting one. It's much easier than what we've seen so far.
Yes.
So this is the schedule for December. December 1st, the Wild. The 3rd, the Habs. The 5th, the Capitals. The 7th, the Coyotes. The 9th, the Wild. So every second
There's
day.
a lot of Wild in there.
Then the Wild again 3 days later. Then the Preds on a back-to-back. So Minnesota on the 12th, Preds on the 13th. The Blues on the 15th. Ducks on the 17th, Preds on the 19th, Stars on the 21st, Canucks on the 23rd, Flames on the 27th, and then Kraken and Jets, one on the road in Seattle, one back in Edmonton on New Year's Eve against the Jets. So there's 2 back-to-backs over a 15-game stretch against some weaker competition. I think, I don't know, was it Gregor that said it? Isn't it 8 or 12 of the next opponents are below them in the standings? Now, we would have expected the Oilers to be higher in the standings at this point anyway, but how many of these 15 do they have to win?
They have to win at least 8. Let's just
bare minimum. Bare minimum.
But when I look at that, just off the top of my head, I go 11 of those are winnable. Mm-hmm. and then the other 4 are contested. And you could win a couple of them. You might lose those. You might lose all of them. But even still, I think 11 of those are one of all the Minnesota games. I think could win those. You got to beat Chicago. You have to beat Nashville. You got to beat your Pacific Division
you got Arizona.
rivals.
You got Anaheim. I mean,
those are games you need to win. You can't mess around if you really want to get back on track, if you will. Those are games that need to be won. They might lose one of those and win one of the ones against the tougher opponents, the unexpected ones. You got to beat Montreal. Maybe you lose to a Minnesota, but then you beat a St. Louis.
Yeah, it makes you work. Yeah. Are they going to beat Minnesota 3 times? Probably not. But you pick up one of these other ones that we would classify as a difficult game.
So I think 11 of those are winnable. Minimum 8. If you get 9 or 10, I think you're satisfied with the month.
There's really, outside of Dallas on December 21st, there's not really a juggernaut on this list.
You can't go 500.
Yeah.
You can't do what you did in November because that was a disappointment. And I didn't want to say it during the month, the strength of schedule thing, but it kind of started to pop up, and more people were talking about it. They did face some good teams in the past 2 months. They really have.
Where would you come out on 9-5-1? That's only one more win than you said the minimum 8.
Yeah.
But 9-5-1 sounds pretty good over a 15-game stretch.
We've got 19 points there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it puts you into an okay spot, and then you got to ramp it up for January.
I don't know why it's me, but 9-5-1 sounds way better than 8-7 or 8-6-1. You know, I don't know what it is, but 9-5-1 sounds like a pretty good month.
Yeah, it does.
And they're going to they're going to have to have a couple of those, I think, if
they
they're
do.
They need to get back into.
They need these streaks. They need winning streaks. They can't go win one, lose one, win one, lose one. It is no bueno.
All right, so that's going to do it for another episode of the Oil Stream. Inside the Numbers are brought to you by Coolbet. Huge shout out to the folks here at Boston Pizza on Calgary Trail for having us by.
That's awesome.
We'll have another live on location probably within minimum 3 weeks because I'm out of here on the 22nd.
Man, you're busy
for Spengler. So we'll be back here somewhere.
I can't wait for those 4 a.m. wake ups.
Yeah, this guy's going to be filling in for me for about 3 weeks. I think I'm off for 3 weeks when it's all said and done.
And I only get Eric for one of those weeks.
Yeah.
And nothing. I love Walker post-game radio.
Yeah.
He's going to be on those other days. But Eric has a certain energy. And I mean, the show's your guys' baby. So when I'm with him, it's like, okay. But when I'm with Jeff, I'm like, all right, like, what are we doing, Jeff?
Yeah, it's your show
like,
now.
I don't know, you tell me. I'm like, oh, my God, what do I do?
Yeah, that'll be so anyway, I guess we'll be back in another Boston Pizza in like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can come on by for a pre-Christmas episode of the Oil Stream. Who was that?
I don't know. Was that Michael? I think that was Michael again.
From the other side over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was him. I got him that.
Remember he came to our
bought
first
him at
one?
Rickards Red earlier. Yeah. He brought his kids to that one too, and they couldn't come over. So.
Good to see him.
Yeah, no, he was.
I haven't seen him at the rink this year. Maybe he's been down. Maybe he works.
Maybe he's hanging out with Maddie and Reed where nobody can see them in Mysteryland.
Then they called me out for calling them out.
Maybe that's what it was. All right, so that's going to do it for another episode of the Oil Stream. Thank you very much for watching tonight. And this guy's got a hot date he's got to take off too, and I've got a ring to
we don't talk about Fight Club.
Oh yeah, sorry, buddy. I thought it was out there. All right, Tommy, get us out of here, buddy.
All right, be sure to like, share it, subscribe, smash that thumbs up button. Look at us influencers, just a couple of cool dudes in the corner at the BP Lounge on a Tuesday.